ले लो राम, ले लो राम, मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम।
राम हे राम, राम हे राम, राम हे राम, राम हे राम। घर घर अत को दर दर भगतों, कहाँ कहाँ अपना शिर भगतों। घर घर अत को
घर घर पथ को, कहाँ कहाँ अपना सिर पथ को।
इस जीवन में मिलो न तुम तो राम ही राम। इस जीवन में मिलो न तुम तो मुझे मरण में ले लो राम,
ले लो राम,
और मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम, और मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम,
ले लो राम,
मुझे अपनी शरण में ले लो राम। प्रेम से बोलिए श्री उमापति महादेव की जय, विष्णु भगवान की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय, सकल पंच की जय। जय सीताराम। Dear devotees, once more on behalf of the Mandir, a most cordial and special welcome, and those yet to come, we are blessed once more with this divine privilege afforded to us to be present in this holy shrine of Shankar Bhagavan and to engage ourselves in the holy environment of Satsangh. Satsang, devotees, is the holy environment created with love and devotion where three major activities take place. Puja, worshiping the feet of the Lord. Kirtan, singing and chanting the praises of the Lord with a guileless heart. And Katha, listening to the divine deity of the Lord. Shankar Bhagavan himself reiterates, unless his mercy showered on our good karmas accumulated from the past and the present birth, it is difficult to reach in such environments. So taking this into consideration, we consider ourselves highly blessed. A special welcome again to devotees who joined with us across the globe, nationally, regionally, and internationally, on our Facebook page, streaming live by members of the Sant Nagar Hindu Youth Group from the Sant Nagar Hindu Temple, branch number 67 of the SDMS of Ojo Road in Sangre Grande, Trinidad, West Indies. A most cordial and special welcome. Once more, devotees, we take advantage of these moments that we have here. We have had puja, we have had kirtan. We now join in Bhagwan's Katha as we take a dip in this fathomless lake of the Shri Garuda Purana through the cup of the airs. Shri Ram said to Shabari Mata, the 9 steps of devotion that leads to the Lord starts with the first 2. And what is the first 2? Pratama Bhakta Dusari Rati Mama Katha Prasanga. Develop a love for this kind of company you call satsang, where there is puja, kirtan, and katha, and develop that love for listening to Bhagwan's praises. You see, by listening, devotees, and the holy environment of satsang, something that the third eye will begin to open, and when it begins to open, the light of knowledge will dawn, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. When that begins to happen, then control will come over your senses of perception and the organs of action, and an aversion for the material world will develop in the heart. And this is the pathway that you want that leads, which will allow the key to successful living and the key to achieving our ultimate goal, which is oneness with God, which is bhakti. Bhakti will develop in the heart. And when you get a gem of devotion, it is the beginning of your elevation. So once more, we are blessed with this opportunity. Let's sit upright as we clasp our hands, close our eyes, and bow our head once more. Visualize again through the third eye the beautiful magnetic hue of Bhagavan Vishnu. Visualize the Lord possessing that dark hue complexion, a beautiful crown upon thy head. The Lord with 4 arms, Sankha Chakra Gada Pachman Mala Vibhushitam. One he has the Sankh, the other the Chakra, the third the Gada, the fourth a lotus flower. A beautiful mala made of the wild sylvan flowers garland the Lord. Mahalakshmi devotees is massaging the feet of the Lord. All the devotees are surrounding the Lord and praising Him. We join that crowd in our minds, devotees, as we rever the Lord. But we keep focusing upon those feet of the Lord. So lovely, but yet so mysterious as we remind ourselves, Prabhu, those feet have the holy river Ganga flowing on earth. Those feet, Janak, lived on the day of your wedding between you as Ram and Sita Devi. Those feet redeemed the Hilya who was cursed into a rock. Those feet Goa had the privilege to live before you ferried across Ganga. Those feet Vibhishan sought refuge thrown out from Lanka by Ravan. We too, Prabhu, mentally bow upon them, craving of you. Bless us, Prabhu, with your divine grace, guidance, mercy, divine protection, divine inspiration. But Prabhu, we crave the greatest boon that any human can be blessed with, the gift of unswerving, unfaltering, uninterrupted, unflinching, loyal devotion of bhakti to thee. We join in a bandhana to the various divinities, beginning with Shri Ganesh. Hari Om. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Shri Saraswatiyai Namaha. Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namo Namaha. Om Yam Brahma Vedanta Vido Varanti Param Pradhanam Purushanta Thanye Veshwargate Karanam Ishwaram Va Tasmai Namo Vegana Vinashanaya Vinadhare Vipulamangaladana Shile Bhaktarti Nashini Viranchi Harisha Vande Kirti Prade Akhila Manorat De Maharahe Vidya Pratayani Saraswati Nami Nityam. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guru Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Nilambuja Shambalaku Malangam Sita Samarapitavam Bhagam Pano Mahashayak Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvansatam. Ram Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Shri Ramanam Varanane. He Rama Purushottama Narahari Narayan Keshava Govinda Garurarvaja Gunanide Damodara Madhava. He Krishna Kamalapati Yadupati Sitapate Shiripate Vaikuntadipate Characharapate Lakshmipate Pahimam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangulanghayate Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Nama Vigyana Rupaye Paramananda Rupine Krishnaya Gopinathaya
Govindaya Namo Namah.
Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kansa Chanur Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagadguru. हरि ओम कृष्णाय वसुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोप कुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्य देवाय गौ ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगदीथाय कृष्णाय
गोविंदाय नमो नमः।
यम ब्रह्मा वरुण इंद्र रुद्र मरुतस्तुनवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैर्वेदैः साङ्गपर्क्रमुपनिषदैः कारयन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिता तर्कते न मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यश्यन्तं नाभिरुसुरा सुरगणदेवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम नागेन्द्रहराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरगाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकराय नमः
शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम जयंती मंगला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वः स्वधा नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्तुते व्यास विशाल बुधे पुरारविंद्र यतपत्र नेत्र येन त्वया भारत तल्य पूर्ण प्रज्वालितो ज्ञान प्रदीपः। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुवर
विमल यश जोदायक फलचार।
ओम बुद्धहीन तनु जानिके ओ सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु क्लेश विकार। या पति रामचंद्र जी की जय। शरणम नाथ मम संकट हरो हरे। बोलो विष्णु भगवान की जय। We join in praises customary to Goddess Saraswati, begging of her to bless us that may we always possess that sharp and broad intellect, to always have good memory, eloquence in our speech, melody in our voice, creativity in our hands, mastery of our musical instruments, all in the field of fine arts, talents and skills. O Devi, Daya Raksha Shama Karo. Jai 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 Sri Saraswati Mata. Jai Jai Jai
Shri Saraswati Mata.
Oh Jai 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 Sri Rama Radhika Ma. Jai 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 Sri
Saraswati Mata.
Oh Jai 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 Sri
Saraswati Mata.
Prathama Vinavamai Sri Ganesha ko Duje Saraswati Ma. Dije Mai Vinavati ne Deva ko jo yak Sriti Chala. कीजे मैं विनवती ने देवा को जो यह श्रीति जला। ओ जय जय जय
श्री सरस्वती माता।
ओ जय 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 श्री राम हे मैं विनवा पंच सभी को ध्यान तुझे उलधाम। श्री गरुड़ पुराण अनुपम करनी भवसागर पार करा। श्री गरुड़ पुराण अनुपम करनी भवसागर पार करा। ओ जय 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 श्री
सरस्वती माता।
ओ जय 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 श्री रमा राधिका माँ। जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता। जय 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 श्री सरस्वती
माता।
ओ जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता। और शक्ति सरस्वती देवी माता की जय। Praise again to a noble way of life of Sanatan Dharam. We keep reminding ourselves and let the younger ones know this great pathway of life that we follow, second to none in this universe. There is no scripture older than the four Vedas. There is no Sanskrit older than, no language older than Sanskrit. Okay, our forefathers coming here 81 years ago, in order to survive and maintain devotees, their identity as a people, they preserved their dharma. And after 81 years, look at where we are today. Still so vibrant devotees, but tradition has to be passed on. And that's why we have to do that. Others, younger ones, will see, and devotees, we have to bring them and keep them in these environments where these occasions are, they take place, so that they will learn from it. Okay? We come devotees from the rishis and the munis. According to statistics of the Srimad Bhagavad Purana, we could trace back our lineage straight to Brahma, when this universe was created. The blood that flows in you and I are not ordinary, it's the blood of the rishis and the munis. And we must try our best to maintain the purity of it. Do not mix it. It becomes Sankar Bharan. Sankar Bharan means Dogla. Right? The purity of it will not be there. So the Vedas quote, if you live for the sake of your dharma will protect you. Perform the karmas, devotees, that will preserve the dharma. And by doing so, it is going to protect you. Kaho ek baar ye mitro sanatan dharam ki.
कहो एक बार हे मित्रों, सनातन धर्म की जय हो।
करो प्रचार दुनिया में सनातन धर्म की जय हो।
करो प्रचार दुनिया में सनातन धर्म की जय हो।
ऋषि संतान होने को जो दावा मन में रखते हो। ऋषि संतान
होने को
जो दावा मन में रखते हो। ना छोड़ो कर्म अपने को सनातन
धर्म की जय हो।
सनातन
धर्म की जय हो।
ओ सनातन धर्म की जय हो। बोलो सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। We join in praises to Bhagavan Vishnu. जय कृष्ण हरे श्री कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे ओ जय कृष्ण हरे श्री
कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे
जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो जब
तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो
और कोई न केवल आरा हो और कोई न केवल आरा और तब तू ही मेरा पार करो तब तू ही मेरा पार करो जय 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 कृष्ण हरे ओ जय कृष्ण हरे श्री
कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे
तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे विष को भी अमृत कर दे तू चाहे तो सब
कुछ कर दे
विष को भी
अमृत कर दे
पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा पूर्ण कर दे सबकी आशा और जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरो फिर जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे जय 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 कृष्ण हरे ओ जय कृष्ण हरे श्री
कृष्ण हरे दुखियों को दुख दूर करे
जय 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 कृष्ण हरे ओ जय 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 कृष्ण हरे ओ जय 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 कृष्ण हरे बोलो श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय विष्णु भगवान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय सर्वदेवी सर्वदेवता की जय साधु गुरु के दंडवत जय 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 सीताराम कल्याण So the devotees once more we take a dip in this beautiful dialogue between Bhagavan Vishnu and Garuda. All right? Devotees, Bhagavan Vishnu, or Garuda in fact, using the opportunity to be in the company of the Lord, he posed various questions to the Lord. And these questions, devotees, are what is related to this special issue of death, after death, and so on. What should be done, what is rightfully done, the importance, devotees, of a son, okay, performing all his rites and rituals and so on. Very, very important. So, devotees, Bhagwan explained to Garuda, using him as a medium that we could get this knowledge. And the scriptures really is the authority and not us. Sometimes we may want something, you know. One person may say, well, look, you see me when I die, don't do no shaving, don't do no bhandara, although take no trouble anything. So the children want nothing better than that. Their father, they say, yeah, want nothing, you know, right? So let me please him. But let's work for them. It's not what you want or what you believe is right, it's what is right. There's a difference between what we think is right or what really is right, and what really is the authority here. The scriptures. Okay? I might voice my opinion, it's going to be correct, as Suji said in Satyan Brat Katha. But this is what a dialogue between, if you have the faith and the belief, and we could understand that Bhagwan Vishnu explained to Garuda for our benefit. This issue of death after death and so on. Then we will make sure and try to do what is best in this way. So what happened? We listen further. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamali Bhyo Namo Namam Bhagwan Vishnu Bole Kihe Garurman Vachan Karma Suno Preto ko Datva ko Pancha Pindadan Huta ko Madhyay ko Tam ko Trinav Agani ko Putrasya Da ko Dadatra ko Hari Om Bhavit ko Panchaka ka ko Yadi Panchakeshu ko Mrito Yatsu Na ko Gatim ko Lavate Nara Hariam daha satatra na ko kartabya kriti na ko parambar hariam pamaran ko bhavate adaw ko kritva ko nistadi hariom eko tatraksha ko pancha ko kam hariom siddhirevati antang na ko dahi nuang dahi cha ko na ko shubham bhaver Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. So he explained it to Garuda. As we went through devotees, now we have to understand that Hinduism is based again on Samay Desha or Kal. What is Samay Desha or Kal? The time, place, and the situation. Remember when our forefathers come here, they didn't have all the issues to support our issue of our culture. When they come into Napa and leave Dugras, Mangu, and all them, they keep bringing them, and after time, then they began to use. So whatever again, they used in this manner. Although what devotees is very nice to know, people who live in New York, Canada, all these places and so on, they have kush grass growing up there. They have pan leaf growing, tulsi growing, all these things and so on they carry up there. Right? During this time of winter, they keep them inside, okay, to prevent the coldness and so on. It'll bring them out afterwards. But it is very, very heartening to know, just for the sake of the dharma, they're able to propagate all these things and so on. We make a film, say, excuse in Trinidad, Baba, we couldn't get that. You're making enough sacrifice to go and get it. Dahi is a must in any worship you're doing. Be it puja, wedding, bhandara, whatever, you must have dahi. Right? And you have people selling dahi, you could go and get. It tells you that the baby really only prepared to accept the devatas when you leap it with fresh govar, you know. And had to be from a cow, not a bison. Right? But you have to get up and go and get. If the man sells it, nothing wrong by it. Yeah, I give it a minor cow, see how easy it is. See how easy a cow is to mine, right? You understand? But the thing is, you can get it, and that is important in the carry the rite and the ritual. So Vishnu Bhagavan says, Hari Om, is prakar ko panch pinda, pinda dan ko, Hari Om Shavaki ko, ahuti ko hoti hai. Now you'll notice on the day of the funeral service, 5 pindas are made, okay? And these pindas are offered. Now there are certain, on the junction you're supposed to offer in different place and all them things and so on. But we can't do that here in Trinidad. You could stop in Guayco Junction and take out the coffin from the first and do a pinda down there. You understand? Traffic and all them things might get charged too. So it had to work to suit the situation. So in the home when they're doing the service, first the son will offer the pinda in the right hand. Then the first manzil is where you stop by the gateway. The pinda will be transferred to the left hand and a new pinda will be offered there. And the other 3 devotees are offered down by, by the cremation ground. All right? One is offered, you will notice the son will do the sprinkle water, perform the arati, take out the pinda, break it in 4 parts, throw it in the 4 directions. That to ward off the evil spirits and negativities that follow in this dead individual. Okay? Then devotees, so the 4th one, none is offered there. You have the 2nd and 3rd manzil, and the 4th one, only the arti, no pinda is offered there. The 5th one is when you reach by the pyre, the body is placed there. Again, the son will break the pinda, throw it, and offer the new one there. So the dead person goes with 2 pindas in his hand. It must have the 2 pindas. The 5 has been offered, and they show you how. All these rites and rituals have a reason for it. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam, or it said the above is used, come to disturb the soul, right, in that body, which is devotees, those goblins and fiends and spirits and all everything that follow in. And that's why again it has been mentioned, you must know. a cremation ground or a cemetery is not a nice place to go there and relax and have a good time. Right? Plenty things are wrong in that place. You have to know it ain't good to even drink or swallow water, swallow your own saliva in those places, much less to eat or drink something there. Quicker you can get out from there, the better for you. Now, what is a custom do we have when you come from a funeral? All right, we forget to mention that, all right, or a house where there is a death. When you reach home, you don't go bram inside your house same time. Go by the tap, wash your hands, sprinkle water over you, kula curry and so on. Stay a little while outside then. If you can help it, especially from funerals, when you attend and you go to cremation sites and all these things, it's good to bathe and change your clothes. But just get back the same dirty clothes all inside the house. Shoes is something we forefathers show us. You don't go inside your house with shoes. The furthest place you reach with shoes is in the gallery or somewhere by the step there. Because you walk in all over all kind of things and so on, and you bring that inside your house, which should be a temple to you, because that's what caused you to live in it. So all these were teachings our forefathers give up, but give to us. But at least sprinkle water over you and so on, and you ward off negative forces that may be following you. It's always good to you. So when you're going to open your door, you don't face the door and open it. You turn around, and when you go in, turn around and face the outside. So whatever coming in with you, you confront them one time. Beat it from here. Things do follow, especially if you have what you call a light shadow and so on. There are instances where these things happen. Today what happened because of the effect of electricity and so on, a lot of these are not there, but they used to be very prevalent. So devotees, what happened? Having the benefit of these offerings, devotees, or else the soul, the body in fact is being disturbed by all these negative forces and so on. Hariom aisa ko preta ko panch pindame ikdikar, Hariom agni ko chittame ko, hom kiya usme ko agni ko, Hariom trinadi ki hota hai Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. So the son having dedicated 5 pindars to the departed, and having brought again the oblations, devotees, with the grass, right? He should give them, offered to the fire now, right? So you notice again, by the fire, after the body is placed, prepared and placed in the fire, a fire is prepared there. And you invoke the fire god Agni Devata as the meat-eating fire god, not the Agni you'll worship here in this yag or the temple when you have puja. As the meat-eating fire god, to consume the body that is made up of blood and urine and feces and bones and flesh and you name all the various things the body is made up with. You beg Agni Dev in that form to bring this body to ashes. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. Now, if it's the Panchak period, every month there are 5 nakshatras which are considered to be inauspicious if there is death, and it's called Panchak. You have 27 stars in the zodiacal belt, and the last 5, starting from Dhanishta coming down to Revati, is considered inauspicious. But it tells you that if a person dies in Panchak, but cremates out of Panchak, it's not effective. But if you die in Panchak, cremate in Panchak is effective. It's when you cremate in. You're among to die in Panchak, but when you cremate in this Panchak, it's effective. And they are what you call totkas that we do at that time. And you will notice sometimes you may go to a funeral, and you see Baba will tell the judgment, they make 5 little dolly, right, with flour and black till molded on piece of kush grass, and they will have it in Atharya. And Baba is going to sankalp kare, consecrate them devotees. This is for the Panchak period. And the son will place them on the body. One by the head, one between the arms, the 2 arms, right, one each. One on the navel and one between the leg. So that's a totka. If there's any issue to go, let it take them with them one time. And that is very, very effective. So better safe than sorry, regardless you die in Panchak or not, or cremated or not, you still take the issue and do it. All right? So that Panchak, you see it mentioned here to where? All right? Is in this manner. So they tell you here that if devotees, although it's not recommended to burn in Panchak, but if there is burning in Panchak, there are special issues to do. And what is the special issue to make in with these $5? And a special havan is done in the fire for the Panchak period too. So this is what in Trinidad, this is our custom here. Okay, now different states again and so on, you'll find different customs prevailing and so on. Hari Om Narayana Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamalebhyo Namo Navam. इसी प्रकार यदि को पंचक में को हरिओम दान करे तब को विधि दान में को दोष की को शांति की को लिए कहे अब मैं तुमको उसमें को दाह को विधि को कहूंगा. Bhagwan Vishnu says, Garur, the rites again for the warding off of all ills and so on in case of burning in Panchak period devotees, if it takes place in Panchak. Hey Garur, usko हर शव के को समीप को चार को पुतले को कुसे में को बनाकर नक्षत्र संख को मंत्रों के हरि ओम अभी को मंत्र कर को रखे है. The same thing I mentioned, that the $5 have to be made, right? Mantras will be recited by Pandit as he sanctioned them, and they are placed on the various parts of the body. Hari Om. But you have more to it, eh? We don't practice that. Suvaran ko dan de ko nachatra ko namase tatha om ko preta jaita isko mantra mein hom kar ko hari om fir ko nachatra mein naam ko kare ko ikshi ko santush ko kate hai. He said purified gold should be used. See it? And sacrifice performed devotees with the Panchak mantras. But we don't really use the gold here. People are going to stop doing it. Because you don't use 7 pieces of gold, all right? I tell you, you have purified gold, eh? If you can help it. You put them on the openings, the upper tiers of the body. 1 in each ear, 1 on the eyelid, 1 in each nostril, and 1 on the lip. It's purifying, so it draws out any remaining life force that are trapped in the cells and so on in this body. Okay? And devotees, what happened? This mantra, Pre Jaita, is mentioned there, devotees, as all these are done. And Hari Om, aisa kar ko unko putalo ko sahit ko, usako mritaka ko daha kari hai. The images should be burnt, devotees, with the body. Little doll you make, you place them, and they should be burnt with the body. So you know when they take out the flowers, I think, as Sanatana, as Hindu, we don't burn flowers. So they take out all the flowers, put it in a box one side to throw in the river. You just have to make sure they take out those things. It had to be burnt with the body. All right? Isi prakar ko, putra ko, Hari Om, putra ko sapinda ko srad me ko din, Hari Om sabidhi ke panchak me ko, shan kare ki hota hai, Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. And then again, devotees say here that the sun, on the day of the offerings, devotees of the Pindas, he should perform devotees' purificatory rites, right? Devotees at that time. As I told you, see, certain customs are different down here because we had to work with the situation of the land and all these things. Remember, before we could not cremate, all my grandparents, everybody, and yours too, they buried. Because they didn't have laws in Trinidad that you could cremate. It's when the laws passed and you were allowed to cremate, then cremation started. Or as long ago, everybody used to be buried. But the highest way of disposing of a body is recommended by cremation, where everything goes to ashes. Today I have 2 aspects by which you could do it, open air cremation or the crematorium. The open air is traditional. And the thing about it is, you don't have to do anything. The funeral agencies fix everything for you. You just pay them the money. Long time I started going cut wood, go and pack the wood, all these things and so on and so on. Today you don't have to do that. But that is the more traditional way. Hari Om, again, a person might have a certain desire when they die. They want to cremate or they want to bury, well, just try to fulfill it, you know. But really and truly, think of a body in the ground and how long it takes to decompose and what happened with the process of decomposition. What kind of suffering a body will really be going through. Whereas overnight, this body comes to ashes. Nothing is there again. All right? Hari Om. उस 5 के नक्षत्र में के दोष की को शांति लिए हरि ओम क्रम से को हरि ओम तिल पात्र सुवर्ण को चांदी रतन और को घट में को परिपूर्ण को हरि ओम श्री काश यात्रा को दान देता है. Now it says again here, for warding off ills and so on, because of the Panchak period, he should give devotees a vessel full with sesame seed, gold, silver, diamond, and an image devotees, right, made of same, and in a vessel filled with ghee, all right, in order to इस प्रकार को 5 नक्षत्रों की शांति से को कर को जो कोई को दाह में को कर को उसका को विघ्न को नहीं की होता है. That is to ward off again after having any ills connected with the Panchak period of them. And after performing devotees, these purificatory rites and so on, these deeds and so on, the burning devotees, no harm, and the departed goes to, will come to that son of that family, and the departed gets to move to the higher region. So you see what happens, it's incorporated in the Havan, when you do the Havan, by the fire. Right, the Panchak mantras are done there, you make it Havan, 5 extra. You have 34, and these 5 will make it 39. If there is no Panchak, it's 34, and if there's a Panchak, you have 39 mantras. Right? So if you have an idea, when you go to a cremation, you're going to see the Pandit performing, and you can follow with it. That is the importance of gaining knowledge devotees. So due to, again, in this land, you tend to adjust. In other countries too, they have to adjust and so on in this manner. So as best as we can, but then the Garuda Purana is authority here. Hari Om. इस प्रकार को दाह कर्म की को विधि सुनाई यदि को स्वामी को साथ को पतिव्रता को Hari Om. Hey, it tells you that this is not for the Panchak burning there. And in other cases, he should burn it devotees alone. All right? Narayana Bhakti Kevalam. He should be burnt alone then. All right? If it's under on Panchak. And I think Narayana Bhakti Kevalam Charana Kamalibhyo Namo Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya. I explained last Thursday that if a lady wishes to sati, sati means to give up herself on the funeral pyre with the husband. Okay? She will only do that if she had lived a very pure chasta in loyalty and fidelity to her husband. It's only then you sati. If that has not been so, you don't go there. If a lady is pregnant, she should not go to the funeral pyre. You have to wait till after the child born and all these things and so on. I have to grow up the child. There are certain obligations and so on. Such a person, such a lady devotees attain oneness and keep returning with her husband in future lives as husband and wife. In today's world, again, that is considered to be barbaric and is not practiced. Okay? So that is out of the question, clean. I showed you a picture last week, Thursday, of Sulochana. Sulochana was the wife of Meghnad, the son of Ravan. And she had given up her body on the funeral pyre with her dear husband. The head was sought, and she gave up her body with it. The daughter of the Nagars in this way. Hari Om Narayan Bhagavan Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamali Bhyo Namo Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namam. He said when that lady burns, it's only the limbs that's burned, not her, not she. Right? That Atma or the soul devotees does not burn, but it merges with the husband in oneness. Pati Parmeshwar in this manner. Jaisi Agni ko Suvarnadi, Hariyam Dhatuo ke ko mal durkar, Dehati hai ko, Vaisehi, Pati Brata Isri Amrita Tulya ko, Agni ke ko, Madhyak Papo ke ko, Dahan kar ki hota hai, Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. Here again, devotees, Bhagavan Vishnu is explaining. All right? Narayan Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamale. As devotees again, as it relates again, just metals are smelted, devotees, the impurity does not, the impurity goes away, but the true value of it stays. So to that lady who gives up her life with her husband, yes, the outer limbs burn, but not her true self that really burns. And what happened again? It burns away. Agni ko papo ke ko dahan kar diya hai. Sins which have been committed by her is burnt to ashes in those with her husband. Right? To make such a decision is really a different person. Hari Om. Koi ko dharmatmatra ko prani ko sapat ke ko grahan kar ko satya ko nahi bolta hai. वैसे को धर्मी को मनुष्य को तपो ये सूर को अंगार के को हाथ में को देहती है. Devotees, as in the ordeals again it says, the true, the pure and the righteous is not burnt. Even again devotees, the true, the pure and the righteous, you may see at the figure that the person has been burned, but only the outer limbs, the 5 elements really burn. And they have issues where they give up the body, for instance. When Andha and Andhi, the blind couple, where they, when Sarwan was shot, right, they tell Sarwan, prepare pyre, place the body upon the pyre, 2 of them on the pyre with their son on their lap. And through the power of yoga, Yog Agnin, they were tapasvis, they brought forth devotees, the element of fire in within outwardly, and ignited the fire and gave up the bodies. Shabari did the same thing too, right? Sarbhang Muni, all the others of them, they did that. They were so great and so powerful, these Mahayogis could have done it. Through the power of yoga itself. Krishna eva sudhe. So the pure and the truthful devotees really is not burnt, is only devotees that are the elements of the body. Krishna eva sudevaya. Vaise ko pati brata istri bhi ko nahi ko jalti, parantu ko stula de ka ko hariom jalakar ko hariom antaryami swami hit ko eka ko sadrashyata ko prap ho ko istri ko हरिओम ईश्वरी को त्वपापने को शरीर का नहीं को प्राप्ति होता. श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय. He said likewise again, that lady who joins her husband on the funeral pyre is never burnt. We may see the literal sight in front of you that she's been burned, but really that soul or Atma never burnt. She achieved that highest condition. Ladies who live this pure life, you see, we're very chaste, fidelity, loyalty, and all these things and so on. They tell you the scripture that where such a person walk, the soil has been blessed. When they speak, the words will have effect. Such people, devotees, should learn like to jari and so on, because the words become very, very effective and so on. That is the power of, how you call it, living that chaste life, where you call pati brata dharam, if you could do it. Okay? Great merits come to that individual, and that is what Ansuya Mata had given to Sita Devi when Shri Ramanam visited them in the forested area Chitrakuta. Narayana Bhagavan, the soul is unified devotees with that of her husband by death with her husband. When she gives up the body and the funeral pyre. Hari Om. इसी प्रकार जब तक कोई स्त्री को स्वामीन के साथ अपने को आत्मा का को दाहक नहीं को करेगा, तब का कोई स्त्री इस शरीर को जन्म में को स्त्री होता हो जाएगा. श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय. It says that lady who does not burn herself in the fire with her husband is certainly never released from female bodies. Now we don't practice that in this time, right? Nobody is going to encourage that, and we do not practice again. But here it tells in the Garuda Purana, a lady who does not give up herself with her husband, she will never be released from female bodies. You're always born back as a female. Even for himself, for some reason, fall in a lower species, born back as a female again. Right? There's a difference between the male and the female. The soul is the same, eh? The karmic situation has caused it. One is born a male and the other female. It's not by guess or coincidence. But this is mentioned here, and we do practice this, that if she does not give up herself with the husband, she will always born back as a female later on in other lives. I don't know. जिसमें कारण को हरिओम यतन और को मन में बचन की श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय बचन की को हरिओम श्री काया आदि से को सर्वदा को पतिका को सेवन कर को हरिओम मगनी को वार को सती हो जाता है श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. Therefore it says again, every effort should be made to serve the husband devotees in thoughts, in words and deed. Man, vachan and karam se, whether he is dead or whether he is living. Right? The wife is supposed to treat her husband like her Lord. Pati Parameshwar. See, I mentioned before, and other scriptures tell you, if a woman, a lady, really is dedicated and serves her husband, as the scriptures tell you, that lady ain't bound to pray. That lady don't have to go to any place of pilgrimage. That lady had to know jap tap yoga and asceticism and all these things and so on. Just serving her husband, that blessing devotees come to her. Where she walks, that soil becomes blessed. Her words become words of truth and so on in this way. Okay? Well, it's different today. Man had to learn to help himself, else you're in trouble, eh? Long time you got to get 3 square meals for the day and you seam cotton on your pants. Not again, you know. Right? You forget walking through it. Eh? Help yourself now. So you see all these things that's gone. But we have to remember something. Queen Kausalya had maids awaiting. Right? But she used to make the time and serve her husband in full dedication, King Dasarath. She didn't leave it for somebody else to do it. She did it. Because anytime you leave that loophole, somebody else might want to come and do it. And you don't want that. So the scriptures, I'm telling you what the scripture is saying here, okay? Serve that husband devotees in man, vachan and karam, say in thoughts, in words and deed devotees. Again, as I tell you, that was them generations gone. It's not so again. We live in 2026, people will tell you that. Right? But these base values remain. Our scriptures don't lie. Hari Om Narayan. Koi bhi koi Sri ko Swami ke ko Magar ke Kuvar ko Agnimi ko Pravesh ko Kar ko jo wahan ko Arundati se ko Sadrashta ho kar ko Swarg lok mein ho Hari Om Purva Janam Yogi hota hai. That individual devotees serve her husband in this way. Right? She ascends again the funeral pyre with her husband is equal to a great lady called Arundhati. All right? A special character in what served her husband in this manner and receive all them blessings and so on. And she attained the heavenly sphere. Right? Swargaloka me ko swami ko bhi ko seva karke wala isli ko Hariyam chaudah indra ko rajakar ko tap ko अपसराओं के कोई स्तुति युक्त होकर को हरिओम श्री पीत के को साथ को रमन करते हैं. I also tell you, the wife can't be like Sita and the husband want to be like Ravan. It ain't gonna work, right? You have to be like Ram if you want the wife to be like Sita, to give you that kind of service too. Okay? So it works in both ways in this manner. And so devotees, the highest interest is gained by her, praised by numerous devotees, celestials, devotees, damsels, rejoicing with her husband in the Chaudah Bhavan, in the 14 galaxies of the universe, enduring devotees, all happiness with him, right? When devotee, she sati kare or gives up the body with her husband on the funeral pyre. Heavenly bliss really is enjoyed by her. नारायण परमात्मा, जो स्त्री हरिओम पति के मगन हर को सती का हरिओम होता है, वह कोई स्त्री माता की कुल में को पिता के कुल हरिओम, स्वामी का को कुल में इसमें को तीनों का के स्वर्ग में को निवास करते हैं. A lady who lives that type of life and sati who can give up a body, she benefits her parents both on the mother and the father side and even those on the in-law side. She released them from any bondage in terms of stuck in this karmic situation. Okay? And devotees, for any as many periods devotees as there are hairs on a man's body, it says here, which equal to 35 million that is mentioned here. She rejoices, devotees, with her husband in heaven. Right? She have that privilege to always be with him. That is the steps you see in the Haris when you're married. You beg to come back that amount of time. Okay, wait a line, walk around these days, wait. सूर्य की सरदश प्रकाशी को मान को विमान पर को बैठे स्वामी का साथ में को क्रीड़ा को करते हैं. She sports with her dear beloved husband in the celestial chariots, devotees, and dwell in the realm of her husband's world as long as the sun and the moon are there in existence. She gets that type of privilege to always be with her dear husband. Sri Vishnu bole, फिर को पति प्रथा स्त्री को हरिओम, श्री स्त्री को अपने को भगवान वत्सलम मम पूजितम. इसी प्रकार को श्री इच्छा है हरिओम, भूमि पर सुंदर के कुलम के लक्ष्मीवान को जन्म को धारण कर को हरिओम हरि श्री चिरकाल में तक उसको पति को हरिओम प्राप्त करती की होता है. When she has to come back on this earth, devotees, now remember the heavenly sphere is short-lived. You will enjoy heavenly sphere up there, but you have to come back. But when she has to come back, she will born and she will be blessed to live very long. Nothing is by guess or coincidence, everything is due to karma. And she will be born devotees who is faithful devotees, right? What happened? She will born back again. She obtains the same husband as before. He will reborn with her to enjoy the life here with her again. And she will born in a very, very, what you call, a stainless family. Family devotees will be righteous in nature and so on and all these things, so she could continue living that high righteous life. इसी प्रकार जो स्त्री को क्षण मात्र में हरिओम श्री दाह दुख से देह के को जला को नहीं सकी, वहां का मूर्हा के जन्म के पर्यंतन स्वामी का को वियोग में हरिओम रूपी अग्नि को द्वारा दुखी की होता है. Again, what happened? It says that ignorant person, that foolish person, on account of the momentary pain and so on of burning, what happened? She surrenders this happiness, devotees. She is burnt again in the end, to the end of her life, by the fire, devotees, of separation from that husband. You come back in this world, but you will not get back the same husband as you have wanted. Right? But as if you and the husband are living good. But if they're living good, you're glad not to get him back. Yeah? Think about it. But why would that wife serve that husband? Look at Vrinda. Vrinda was a pious lady. Her husband was Jalandhar. Jalandhar was a terrible demon fighting all the devatas out there. And she used to sit around, meditate. Om Siddhipati Parameshwar, Om Siddhipati Parameshwar. Nobody could have killed him. Because of that faith that wife had in that husband. They couldn't kill him. Vishnu Bhagwan and Shankar Bhagwan had a plot to kill him. That is the power of the wife, who lives that type of life. Okay? So again, it tells you here, she'll be suffer from that separation hereafter she comes back. Hari Om. इस कारण को पति को रुद्र के हरि ओम श्री रुद्र रूप को जान उसमें को से अपने शरीर का को दाह करके यहाँ को सती होता रीति कही कि हे गरुड़ इसी प्रकार कोई सती ना हो तब उसमें सबका इस प्रकार को दाह करते हैं. He said again, if she again be not true again, then he must burn alone. If that lady knows she is not pure, she is not truthful, she didn't live a life of loyalty, fidelity, and all these things and so on, she shouldn't go on a funeral pyre. Right? You should not. उसको मृतक शरीर की हरि ओम श्री मृतक शरीर की को आधा यहाँ को संपूर्ण को जले तब उसके को शिरका को स्पीता के तन को करे जो को गृहस्थ को तो काष्ठ से यति को हो को या श्री को फल हरि ओम से कपाल को क्रिया करते हैं श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय. And where again it says, half devotees are wholly burnt. Whatever the state of the condition of the body is, the skull should be cracked, as I mentioned before. Right? The release latter, it should be split open. And in the case of a householder with a piece of wood, in the case of sannyasis and so on with a coconut. Again, this is a custom not practiced in Trinidad, although I told you I've seen it in India, it has happened on television. All right, to resort everything from inside here. The Brahma Mudra, right? Under Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. इसी प्रकार को स्थल को देह का क्वाप को हवि की इसको हवि ने आपको हरिओम प्रज्वलियों की को जलाते हैं. इस प्रकार को लिए को मिश्रित को मंत्र द्वारा हरिओम श्री हरिओम घृताहुति को देह कर ऊंचा स्वर को द्वारा रोदन करके उसमें को देह मुक्त हो जाता है. Having made devotees of oblation of ghee and so on with mantras and sesame seed offering, it's in here, right? That's after the skull has been cracked and so on, right? Which again we don't practice here, devotees in Trinidad. Okay? Then what happened? इसी प्रकार पुत्र को स्नान कर को हरिओम नासमात्र को उच्चारण कर को तिल द्वारा को जलांजलि को देवे है. Now when the burning is finished, the Panditas call the family one side and start to explain to them what they have to do. All right? Well, you'll be quite in Caroni or wherever it is. The son should bathe devotees when they reach home. You'll explain to them that. So in Trinidad custom here is, you'll offer one handful of tilanjali, all right, on the kush grass. When you come home, there are certain things are put there, like fire, dugras, hardi, and all these things. They are purifying elements. First thing you do, you wash your hands, rinse them out, sprinkle water over you, and you touch those elements, they are purifying. Long time they have sugar water for it, because you're outside there for a while, you know. Now they put sweet drink, or sarbat as you call it then. You partake of that. And you go and bathe and change your clothes and put on clean clothes. Clean clothes. Now what is the custom here in Trinidad? The Tilanjali devotees, he should have, the Tilanjali will be offered from the next morning. The Kujras is planted, water should be brought from the cremation site. But you can't bring that, go to the river to get that water. So where does you carry a bottle of water and you bring it back? You'll notice that. And a kalsa will be hung over the kush grass with a little hole with a piece of cotton wool. So this water, what you bring back is what will fill the kalsa. You keep using that until it gets exhausted, then you put ordinary one. And on the morning after, the sun will get up, bathe, and he now faces south. On your right hand, the Pitra Tirt is between the thumb and the index finger. All offerings should be made through here. And he offers 2 handfuls of water, calling the departed name. 3 pindas will be made, right? Karali should be sought, and his pindas should be offered there by the kush grass. Okay? One for the morning and one to pick up the stock for the other day. And the third one you carry down by the cremation site. Right? Now these offerings are made where the handfuls increase by 1 every morning. So 2 the first day, 3 the second day, 4 the next day, and 5 and 6, and you go up like that. But the pindas will be 1 afterwards. If you go to offer the pinda, it's still there, you break it in four, throw it in the four direction, you offer back the new pinda. And the pinda will be offered until the morning before the shaving. Because on the shaving day, that pinda will be offered with the Maha part by the river. Okay? Now, on that morning, his son, after he makes his offering and so on, he'll make preparations to go to the cremation site to clear the place. Because you had to clear, new cremation had to take place. So you had to go there early, because then fellows come to park up and early too. So you have to make preparations for all of that. And if, according to what it tells you here, this is again our custom down here in Trinidad. All right? Hari Om, aura ko, nirapatra ko, ka prashana ko kar, Hari Om mere ko, habka ko, yushva varan kar ko, Hari Om Isri समूह के सबको एकत्र को होकर मरुघट में को अपने को गृह को का प्रथम को जाय तदंतर को हरि ओम श्री पुरुष को गकी को आते हैं. Now our custom here is when you have a death, you stop choking food because in a state of mourning, right? So you start to keep away from salt, or sometimes they ask you if you have to keep away from salt. If you could, it's better, because that is some sick and eat here. But again, what has happened, if you're not accustomed fasting and lack of salt, you could begin to suffer from body cramps and so on. So I think it is fasting, you have to practice it, you know. If you could just get into fast, you could get sick. All right? So some of you really want to do everything as it should be done. But if you never practicing these things before, you could find yourself in problem. But if you could help it, you try to avoid it in this way. Now, it doesn't mean that because they're choking, no food home, you could go around the road and buy doubles, you know. That I recommended, you know, especially the sons and who doing the parts then. You have to maintain that issue. All right? And there they will go around the devotees to the cremation site. Now, in the evening time, I tell you our practice in Trinidad here, something is called the dudmohi is prepared. And what is the dudmohi? A saltless kitchery is prepared with urdi and rice. And you advise to cook plenty because the family members could eat of it, it's high in protein and so on. Between dusk and dark in the evening, you take the katahar leaf and you plait a plate with toothpicks or cookie or whatsoever, and you put on that plate some of the kitchery, together with a glass of water, a glass of milk, and a lighted diya. And the son will carry it and offer it by the kushras facing south on behalf of the soul. That's called the Dudmohi, the day after the funeral. Praying to Bhagwan Vishnu is mercy on the Atma or the soul. Right? That is done on the second day, in the evening time after the funeral. Krishnaya Vasudeva, he said, the son, if he has to eat, he should eat in leaves and so on. And recount again the glories of that person who has died. Now the thing about it is that you really suppose you'll join in Prabhu's Katha and so on, listening to Ramayana or Gita or Garuda Purana or some scripture and so on. But the problem coming in, devotees, that although you're trying to advise people and all over, they're getting the knowledge, you're supposed to listen to Bhagavan Katha when you live in. Go to those places when you are living. When you are living, you don't go to these places, but as soon as you die, you want Ramayana reading for 12 nights. Think about it. Somebody who is in it, definitely you give the support there. But somebody ain't going, never go at all. I don't have people like that. Probably right next to the temple door too. The moment something happens, Baba, how a night you could give me? They want to have a night you could give them. You reading for the dead? When you're living, you see, now we have health and strength, come to Satsangh. And you have so much access to learning and listening to Prabhu's Katha. If for some reason you can't make it, you have it on the media and so on, the air, to the TV stations and so on, you can get so much knowledge. Do whilst God bless you with health and strength. Go to these places. The same Bhagavad or Ramayana thing explained. Just being in a holy environment where the Steve Satsang is a blessing by itself. Seeing the people who like satsang is a blessing by itself. Come in here, you would not only come and sit down, other activities will take place, where you will benefit from it. You become blessed too. Right? Yes, definitely you give that person his support. But you are going your whole life in a satsang, you want 12 nights reading. Think about it. Well, if you can get it, no problem. It's nice, it's great, we recommend it. Okay? But since the COVID come in, all them they kind of stop out, Hardly find anybody going out and so to do reading and thing again. It really, really throw off everything off balance there. If not, you could sit down and read. You could put on Radio Jagriti and listen. Kathas coming over the radio and so on. So devotees, you just sit down and play card during the night. Or talk agar bagar, say, or play any kind of old music and thing and so on. Nice soft bhajans or kirtan or whatsoever, especially dedicated. Now you see the next thing. When you go to a funeral, when somebody has died, the bhajans that are recommended is not for the deities, but for Bhagavan himself. Bhajans related to Lord Vishnu and his avatars. Not Hanuman Chalisa, not Durga Chalisa, not a Hanuman bhajan, or not a Lakshmi bhajan. That is not recommended. Even the mic men who accompany the funeral should know this. The bhajans must have meaning pertaining to life and after death, or praising Lord Vishnu and his manifestations in this way. People want this, they want music truck, they want tassa, they want all kind of thing now. It's not right. What are you going to do when you go there in the media situation? Huh? Think about it. That's why the scriptures are there to guide us, and the pundits are there to guide you also. All right? So all these things, devotees, should not be, but relevant bhajans at that time they dedicated to the Lord. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamali Bhyo Namo Namam. They will devotees. Hari Om Ghar ke ko aakar ko pun ko snan kar ko. Hari Om Shri. Hari Om Patra kudiye ko. Hari Om Shri Pratama din bhojan karke wahan ko an ko apne ko ghar ka kanu na hai. Now it tells you again here, look how serious this is. That when they reach home all the purification and whatsoever and so on, that person, they should really feed a cow, right? They should feed a cow and eat from a leaf, all right? But not any food, devotees. That was, but not food itself, right? That has been already in the house. Not any food that's already prepared in the house. That means something had to come from outside. Well, now it's coming from outside because when you go in week, you see doubles come in, you see sandwich come in, you see aloo pie come in, all these things people bring in and so on. Do you know when you're going a week, you ain't supposed to swallow saliva, much less to drink water in that home? Because once there is a death, the place is automatically unclean, sutta ko chutihar. The family members involved will observe that, right? But you go in a week today and they have them, them people stingy boy, them serve some sandwich self. We look at it that way, no. They tell you if your guru or the brahmana or the pandit comes, you ain't supposed to bow at his feet. God, children should know that. Sitaram Baba. Because bowing in a home where there is a death, you have no blessing to get because of the nullification of the virtues because of the death. Yeah. So it has grief. So this is again the practice in Trinidad devotees we have. Hari Om, jisme jagat mein ko mritaka prani ko istatawa, us bhumika ko lipan tatha ko barah din mein patiyan ko. Hari Om gritaka ko deepak mein ko rat din ko dakshina mukha rakati hai. Now, having cleared the place, devotees of the dead, right, with gobar and so on the air, he should now keep that lamp burning the air. Right? So the lamp that when for the time you hear the death, you light a lamp or the air in the house. And it should be, according to Garuda Purana, on the southern side of the room. And that there should be kept lighting until the shaving morning. Really, when you go in for the shaving, you're supposed to carry that diya water and carry it. And a new one should be lit. And that will be rid of when the Bhandara is completed. So that remains, so it continues until the end of the Bhandara. All right? But that diya should be kept lit ongoing. If you pass it out, light it back and so on. And you keep it burning. Up till that day of the Bhandara, right? Hari Om. इसी प्रकार गरुड़ जी को सूर्यास्त को में को शमशान में को या चौराहे को पर को मिथि की वर को श्री तन में को दूध को यहाँ को जल भर को तीन में तिनका को सुदृश्या को मई में को रखते हैं. Now it says again what happened. They tell you now for 3 days after, right, at sunset, he should again offer again at the crossroad or on the cremation ground milk and water in an earthen vessel. Right? And we don't do that again. You won't stop to do. So certain practices, as we develop here in Trinidad, we wouldn't do those things and so on. Okay? And but that fast has to be continued until the day of the Bhandara. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namam. Now what we do here in Trinidad, you have to get up early in the morning, head down to the cremation ground in order to clear the place for more cremation. Cremation has to take place, so we can't wait 3 days and then go back there and all these things and so on. We have to adjust and work again with the situation with our land. चतुर्दिन को हरिओम की सगिना को और को निर को अग्नि के दूसरे को दिन यहाँ को तीसरे दिन हरिओम श्री संवस को गण को अस्तित्व को संचय को करे है. Now the 4th day again it says here, the collection devotees should be made again and so on of the ashes and all these things and so on. You have to go the same next day to do that here at Trinidad. So what you do? You will walk with about 3 packs of milk, water, well you'll have water down there, broom and shovel and other things to sweep and so on. When they go down there, you advise them, walk around the pyre 3 times and bow. The milk is sprinkled to shanti, to pacify it. And the water is sprinkled to cool that ashes if rain did not fall. All right, very gently you sweep and you take up the ashes whatsoever. If there are bones, they should be taken up and placed in a jar, kalsa whatsoever, and washed with milk and so on before they're disposed of. And the place they advise to dispose it, go in the Ganges and dispose it. They say them bones only touch the Ganges water, instant heaven. You don't come back. So we can't do that, Caronies our Ganges down here. Right? But this is how we operate here in Trinidad. Okay? Hari Om Tadantar Putra ko, Shamshana ke rahne wale ko, Hari Om Udhar ko, Yam Yatva ko, is mantra ko, Hari Om Balidan kare ko, Om Tin Pradakshina kare hai. You see, Tin means 3, Pradakshina means to go wrong. 3 times you walk around the pyre and you bow. Hey Garud, Chitta me ko pratam ko, Duda ko chirkar. You know, where's Dur? Where's Dur? Where's Dur? Milk. Right? You sprinkle milk. This is where it's mentioned here. The milk that you carry, that is sprinkled over the body and the ashes and so on. Hari Om. Chita ki agni ko shital isko ka chita me asta ko grahan karte ki hota hai jal ki hai. Then you offer water because that ashes is going to be fire hot. Right? It's mentioned here. Hari Om Usako Astayo ke ko Hari Om Palasha ko Patra ko me Dur aur ko jal me ko dhokar ko Mritika ko Hari Om Sri Patra me ko rakho Savidhi ko Srad kare hai. Then what happened? You praise again, it says here on the polished leaf, I don't know what is that, sprinkle again with milk, devotees and water. And from an earthen pot, you perform shroud as prescribed when a time will be. All right, but these will come in afterwards here. And this is what we do here in Trinidad. Okay? After that, devotees, the son will return back home together with those who went with him. And take a bath again, put on clean clothes and so on. And from there you continue with your offerings on the morning, increasing the handfuls by one, and offering of the pindas, devotees. Hari Om Narayana. It have more elaborate things here that should be done, which really we do adhere to it here in Trinidad. So we work again, it's now standardized by this parishad of the Sanatana Dharma Mahasabha. So you'll notice that if a Mahasabha Pandit is doing a funeral, it will be kind of one similar way, or the Bhandara too and so on, even the shaving. Now you see what happens. You see, every day when the sun offering them pindas, part of that pinda does go towards the formation of a new body which is formed on the day of the shaving, which is 10 days afterwards. Remember, the soul has been the size of the thumb, Angu Sharir. And when that ceremony is performed by the river, a new aerial body is formed the size of the palm of the hand. You call it a cubit. So the soul drops this body, enters into this body, and in this body, the soul ready to leave. In other words, it has a transportation to go. If that ritual is not done, the body is not formed, so how the soul will go? That's why the soul has remained stuck in the spirit world until eternity, if you do shaving and bandara. If you have your loved one and you want a package deal, this is what happens. And if that ritual is not done by an eligible person who is eligible to do it, and who is eligible to do it should be a holy Brahmana who is living that life, who would have done his thread ceremony, right? He is the only one authorized to do that. It's good to know this, right? Thank the Lord, in northeastern counties, we have 2 eligible Mahapat, right? You have Pandit Ramesh, his Dharmapatni is here, and Pandit Uttam, the son of the late Pandit Tulsidas. They must come from that Brahmin lineage, or else everything goes down the drain. You need to know this if you want to do what is right for your loved one. Okay? So this will come in on the 10th day devotees, but part of the pinda that is offered every day goes towards the formation of that new body. The Jamdunas get part, and devotees, the souls get part of it too, and the parts go towards the formation of this new body. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Hari Bhakti Kevalam Isi Prakar Hari Om. इसी प्रकार दाही की को पिंदा नष्ट को जात आकर को हरि ओम श्री गर्त इष्ट के को अस्तिव को पात्र को लेकर को जल स्नान पर को जावेगा श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय. And likewise, devotees, now what happened? Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. The place where is a tank or where there's running water and so on, that is where the place devotees. After collecting the bones and so on, washed and with the milk and so on, it should be offered in the Ganga, or in our case, Karani, or depends where your cremation site you would have been in this way. All right? And you offer them in it. There should be worship, and it will Danvat and so on. Isi prakar ko, jal ko, हरियम प्रक्षालन कर को चंदन की को स्थित में को हरिओम चिरतत को कर को कुम कुकुम में विशेष को हरिओम श्री चर्चित को करी है उसको अस्तिका को पात्र में लेकर परिक्रमा को तथा नमस्कार कर को हरिओम मस्तक पर रख को गंगा में को अस्तिप को प्रक्ष में को करी है. You could even do extra or additional worship with that bones that are in the Kalsa, right? Chandan and Hardi and all these things and so on. Okay, touch it to your heart, bow to it, offer prayers and all these things. And then they say here, it should be dropped in the Ganges River, right? जिसके को दश में का अस्तिव्य को गंगा जल में करती है उसमें 1000 वर्ष तक वहाँ को पुरुष में स्वर्ग को रहते की होता है. He was born again, it says, sinks in the waters of the Ganges River. Within 10 days, devotees, after he has left this body, he never returns from this in this world of Brahma, which is his created world. You'll get moksha devotees in this way. All right? as again devotees, he remains in that heavenly sphere again, enjoying heavenly bliss, devotees. But that bone has to touch the waters of the Ganga. So important is it, devotees. Hari Om Narayanaye Paramatamaye Govindaye Namo Namam. Bhagwan Vishnu bole ki he Garur man vachan karma suno. Hari Om Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaye cha. इसी प्रकार को करते वाला कबार को जो किसी मेरे के हुए कुआ को स्पर्श करे, जो को उसमें को अनेक को जन्म का के पाप न उस काल को नष्ट हो जाता है. He devotees, it says here, the waves of the Ganga touches devotees, the dead, or in this case the bones and so on, the sins once become destroyed. And the Ganges, you see bodies floating down, right? You see bodies floating, we have seen it. So that's why you see in Kashi, there's a cremation ghat called Manika Ghat. And there you have cremation 24/7, 365, round the clock. All right? You see boats coming in with boat loads of wood supplying the cremation ghat. And that, devotees, that place is revered. Why? Because moksha is gotten there. Because in the bank of the Ganga, everything going right in the Ganga. And that's why in Kashi again, it's common to see 4 people toten are there going to the cremation site. It's common throughout the whole town. Walking on the streets, everybody else. And people, devotees, they will die, they beg the children to get them to die in Kashi. Because the same Shiv Puran tells you, if you die in Kashi, you don't come back. And you go and right there in Manika Ghat, whatever remains going to the Ganga, you gain the moksha. But you've got to have the faith and the belief, devotees. Right? So having worship with great again, it tells you here, austerity and so on, the divine Ganga, for uplifting again of the forefathers, what happened? इसी प्रकार को गंगा के कोले आए कहे जिस गंगा को यश तीनों के लोक में को गृह से उस गंगा को हरिओम श्री सागराज को 7 में 1000 को पुत्र का कपिल देव मुनि जी को दृष्टा को भस्म हो जाता है. अरे तेलवरी कॉबिनरी गंगा Sagar had lost 60,000 sons. The kings in that solar dynasty, you see, they were burnt to ashes. And when you die in such a way, it's called a kalbrit. The soul don't get a resting place. And the only way was to get the Ganga river to come on earth and pass over the ashes. And all the kings in the solar dynasty, devotees, devoted themselves in penance to Brahma to let loose that water when Brahma washed the feet of Lord Vishnu and kept it in his kamandalu. And Bhagirath, after a number of generations, he was able to appease Brahma. And Brahma said, yes, he will let loose it. But the only person to upkeep Ganga is Lord Shiva. You had to pray to him and beg him to keep it. Bhagirath prayed to Lord Shiva for 1 year. And then Shiva Baba appeared and said, I'll do it. And that's where he curled his head into the jata to accept Ganga. And as Bhagirath drove the chariot, the water left and followed the chariot, driving the chariot to where those ashes were to liberate them. Flowing a distance of 1,500 miles from up in north in the Himalayas to the Bay of Bengal in the south. Nobody could really find the source of the Ganga because of Lord Shiva's jata. You see it coming out, right? A mysterious river, very mysterious. Yes, the body parts touching that water, especially the bones and so on, are in the body. They get liberation. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. कोई भी को प्राणियों को हरिओम पूर्व स्थान में कोई यार कर को मर गया उसका को हरिओम अस्तियों को भी को जो गंगा में को ग्रहण कर हरिओम तो वे को लोग को इसी को छन स्वर्ग लोक में चली जाता है. Men who die after committing sin, right, attains the heavenly world by their bones just touching the Ganga water. If their bones could just touch that Ganga water, no matter what sin they committed, they gone up. So powerful it is. Agni ko jivo ko marne wala, eka ko byad ko, maha ko vaniki ko hua, usko byad ki ko kisi ko, singa ke mar tab ko byah ko, narak mein ko jata hai. It tells you there was a certain hunter who destroyed all sorts of animals in the forest and so on. And he was killed by a lion devotees in a forest, and he went to hell, right? But what happened? उस समय उसको को ब्यार की को स्थिब्य गंगा के गिर रुई को किस्मे को वहाँ ब्यार में को तत्काल को बीमारों के बैठकर को स्वर लोक में को जाता है. But devotees probably went into his funeral or whatsoever, and they dropped the bones in the Ganga. Or where he was killed by a lion, or probably destroyed by the lion, and it remains there. A vulture pick up a bone, and while it's flying, he drop it over the Ganges. And due to the water touching the Ganges River, they have to release him from hell and send him up the road. I think about it. So powerful is this river Ganga that a heavenly chariot came down for him, devotees, to the abode of the shining ones. Ganga Mata has that power, devotees, to give liberation. It did it to the sons of Sagar. It is doing it, and it will continue to do it again. So again, as I mentioned, it's good if you could, when you could go to India, make sure and go and take a bath. No matter we know the contamination issue and all these things and so on, but you go with that faith and that belief, okay? Go with the faith and belief and revere it, as our scriptures mention. It will bring that spiritual benefit to us. So all these, as we are listening to, are the teachings Bhagavan Vishnu is given to Garur, guiding us as to after death, what should be done. Again, in India or different states in India, the customs could vary. In Trinidad, we adapted to certain issues here. Probably in other Caribbean countries could be different, I don't know. Right? But this is how we do it in Trinidad. These are the issues. From the death and the day of the funeral, offering of the pindas and so on. And we are going to listen to now, as we come in along, the Das Gatra, which is the shaving ceremony. How that is done, why it is important, and who does it, devotees, and who should do it, and all these things and so on. So those kathas are coming on now as we're going to listen further. But at this point, I will stop here as we have reached our mark for this evening. Prem se boliye Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Devotees, a lot of people, as I told you, don't like to listen to Garuda Purana. They say it brings fear in the heart. It is not meant to instill fear. It is for knowledge. If we don't acquire knowledge, we will not know what is right from wrong. We could continue doing the same wrong thing all the time. But when you get an idea, all right, of what is right, you could still shift and make a difference. Okay? So this is important of being in satsang and importance too of the Garuda Purana, because why? One day we born and one day we all have to leave here. That is the only short thing in life. The importance of these rites and rituals, remember when you go to a funeral, in English they call it the funeral rites. But in Hindi we call it the Anteshti Sanskar. There are 16 sanskars that should be performed in one's life before conception, whilst that baby is developing, after the child is born and so on. But to me, right now, we already check it out. There's only one we really observing, and not everybody is this funeral rites, the Anteshti Sanskar. The marriage ceremony and all to that going, all right? And even the funeral rites too, which is the Anteshti Sanskar, some people ain't doing it. Because what happened? They were Hindus, their children turned to other religions, and when the time comes, they call a pastor to do the funeral instead of the pandit. Because they can't take on the simidimi and all them things and so on. According to the scriptures, that soul remains stuck in the spirit world until eternity. It can't get released. That's why when you're doing these after-death rituals, be it by the bank or be it in your home, wandering souls just come around there. They just come around begging for something to see to get rich and didn't do anything for us. Look, we suffer in the spirit world. Let me see if you can get something here to help us. You just make tarpan, Sarva Pitri, Tasmai Swadha, Tasmai Swadha. You see? You still get them tarpan, you put a special pinda for them, bigger pinned and all these things. Food will take now to you, feed all the aspects of God's creation. So you who are doing it, you could help those who are stuck in the spirit world. They who have had their loved ones refuse to do it. Right? But as a good Samaritan, you don't do for yourself, you do for others too. So it's important, these rites and rituals, when you understand how beneficial they are to your loved one. Your father and mother bring you into this world, make you a big man, a big lady, and why is too hard to do for them when they leave this world? I mean, you have a brother who died, or a sister who died, or somebody in the family, you know, husband or wife or whatsoever. What is too hard to do? And you don't know, devotees, you have to do nothing. You could pay and get everything done. You're paying him now and he come and fixing everything for you. He bringing the puja material too. You could pay people to cook the food for you. Everything, you have to lift a finger and everything getting done, and still they want to do it. When you understand how important it is, it's worth it. So Prem se boliye Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. So I'll stop at this juncture once more as our ongoing satsang. Let me remind you that next week, Thursday, we will not have any satsang because we have a 5-night Shipurani Yajna which will start on Wednesday the 11th, Thursday the 12th, Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, and Sunday night the 15th is Maha Shivratri. So we have a 5-night Shipurani Yajna starting from next Wednesday. Remember that, please. On Shivratri night, we keep Jagran, we don't sleep. The temple is fully awake with kirtan, bhajans, and we ask all the artists and them to please, as they are accustomed to it, to give the support again once more this year. Well, God bless you and you could do. We are not next year, next year, actually next year, we don't know. Okay? And so devotees, what happened? Probably Garuda Purana will, it will suspend for a little while. I'll tell you why. Because after the, how you call it? After that Shivratri, okay, which will take place on the night of the 15th, on the night Thursday the 19th, all right, but the Sanjeev will be here to conduct satsang, so we need you to come out. Then on the 26th, right, somebody else will come and keep a night satsang also. All right, that's 2 nights. Then you have holy, the full moon Katha is going to take place on, and Mr. Rishi Bizai is going to host that one, give him the support, on this Monday the 2nd of March. Then Kalmas is going to start, the Kalmas period. And that devotees will go for 15 days, will finish on the 18th. Right? So on the 19th, Navratam will start. So on the 5th also of March, there will be no satsang on that night, and the 12th. Right? But we'll be back again with the Garuda Purana reading. That will be on the on Thursday, devotees, the 19th, the first day of Navratam. So we'll have a little break there. But these 2 nights I'm telling you about, Pandit Sanjeev and another person will officiate. Please come and give this support. So Prem se boliye Shri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. We thank our dear devotee, Shastri, this evening, Ramdin, who did puja, contributed all the issues of Parsad and the meals tonight. And Ajay made Parsad this evening, God bless him. We need some younger people to come on board to help with the Parsad. All right? Most of the time it's Akasi and you have Buddy there. Ajay will help in, but we need some few others. Think about it, it's a very good seva or service that you'll be doing, not only for your dharma, but to help yourself. If you protect your dharma, you'll be protecting yourself. Even I'm sure the ladies group too now, everybody increasing in age, they could do with some new young blood, as you say. It's a very great way by which you can engage yourself in these type of activities. All right? So remember, next Wednesday is our Shivratri Yagya. Pandit Sanji will be officiating on the Bedi as usual. Now tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow, the Sanridwadi Ramlila Committee is hosting its first meeting for this year 2026. At 6:30 p.m., we have our first meeting here. All those interested, you're most welcome to come in and join with us. And especially Ramlila members who are following with us, we do look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening. All right? Prem se boliye Sri Umapati Mahadeva ki jai, Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. Let us stand please at this time as we join in our arti. Our devotee who did puja, we ask her to commence the arti. Hari Om. Yani kani chapapani janamantar gretani tatani tani vinashanti pradakshina pari pari. Hari Om Sri Vishnu Adi Devebhyo Namaha. Jaya Jagadisha Hari Swami Jai Jagadisha Hari. Bhakta Jano ke sankat, Bhakta Jano ke sankat, Chan me dur kare. Om Jai Jagadisha Hari. O Jodhya me phal paave, Dukh bin se man ka Swami.
Dukh bin se man ka.
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे,
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे,
कष्ट मिटे तन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। मात पिता तुम मेरे,
शरण गहूँ किसकी।
स्वामी शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी। तुम बिन औरन दूजा, तुम बिन औरन दूजा, आश करो मैं जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम पूरन परमात्मा,
तुम अंतर्यामी।
स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी। पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर,
पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, तुम सबके स्वामी।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
तुम करुणा सागर, तुम पालन करता।
स्वामी तुम पालन करता। मैं मूरख खल कामी, कृपा करो वरदा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
तुम हो एक अगोचर, सबके प्राण पति।
स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। इस विधि मिलव दया मैं,
इस विधि मिलो दया में, तुमको मैं तुमकी।
ओम जय
जगदीश हरे। दीन बंधु दुख हरता, तुम रक्षक मेरे।
स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे। अपने हाथ बढ़ावो,
अपने हाथ उठाओ, द्वार पड़ा तेरे।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा।
स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ावो,
श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा।
ओम जय जगदीश हरे,
जय जगदीश हरे।
स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट,
दास जनों की संगत, क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
बोलो विष्णु भगवान की जय। We humble ourselves to give thanks to Prabhu once more, again in this holy environment of satsang, little moments that we have spent. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham
सुरेशम
O Vishwadharam Gagan Sadrisham Meghavarnam Subhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Viridhyanagam Vande Vishnu Bhavbhayharam Sarvalokaikanaatham Om Tvameva Mata
च पिता त्वमेव
Tvameva Vando
च सखा त्वमेव
Tvameva Vidya
द्रविणं त्वमेव
O Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti 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 Hari Om। प्रेम से बोलिए श्री उमापति महादेव की जय, विष्णु भगवान की जय, सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय, गुरु रामानंद स्वामी की जय, और शक्ति जगदम्बे माता की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। प्रेम से बोलिए सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय, सर्वदेवी सर्वदेवता की जय, साधु गुरु के दंडवत जय 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 सीताराम। आपकी आसन लीजिए, प्लीज टेक योर सीट्स। Remember, after receiving your arti, prasad meals are prepared, courtesy again, our dear devotee Shastri Ramdin. We say thanks to her.
बाजे रे बाजे बाजे मुरलिया बाजे।
Devotees, we are thankful for the mandir. Our Phagwa celebration will be on Sunday the 8th of March. The venue is Sami Grandi Hindu School from 1 to 6. The committee is lacking a lot of funds, and we thank the mandir for allowing us the Thursday night arti to go towards it so we can purchase a beer and powder and so on to be distributed free for the participants on that day. Right? Everything has an overhead cost. To also help us with that, we have a raffle, an ongoing raffle with 10 beautiful prizes. Okay, Mr. Wayne, president of the Phagwa committee, has launched it the other night. Please, anyway you can help us with the raffle. You'll be helping to allow our culture to prevail, that Phagwa could go on. Thank you.
गोपाला तोरे बाजे बाजे बाजे